Welcome everyone. My name is Balaj. You can see two beautiful smartphones in front of my camera. It's called the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge on the left side and an Apple iPhone 7 Plus on the right side. Now you can see obviously two Plus packages here since the jet black is quite interesting and not too many people have seen that, but more about the designs later. First, let's just check out the design from the front of the devices, where we have on both a 5.5-inch screen, and a lot of people are asking me to compare obviously the Note 7 to the Plus smartphone by Apple, but actually both have 5.5 inches in display size, so this is a fair comparison. The Note of the Samsung series has a 5.7-inch screen and would be probably the same size therefore, but here we just have a big size difference in the top area, and we will see more size differences in a second. First of all, the display resolution is different though. We have here Full HD with 1920 1080 display resolution, while we have here 2560 x 1440, so a lot higher display resolution. That's why we also need more battery in here, 3600 milliamp compared to 2900, 20% battery more in the Samsung. The resolution is more than 20% higher though, so the battery might run out faster on the Samsung smartphone. If you check out both from the side, you will see that it looks like they're both really slim and looking good and similarly slim actually, but the Apple iPhone has just 7.3 millimeters in thickness, while we have here 7.7 on the Samsung, so almost again 7% more on the Samsung. But we have wireless charging built in into Samsung, so you can just put it flat on a table where we have wireless charging built in. On the Samsung without an extra case, while we cannot do that with the iPhone, we still need there an extra case. Also with the iPhone, the camera is sticking out more, so it's actually probably the same thickness as the Samsung when it comes to the thickest spot here with the camera. With Samsung, the camera sticks also out a little bit, but not as much as with the iPhone 7 or 7 Plus. What also the iPhone doesn't have is the heart rate sensor, which I actually have never used on a Samsung device, but we have 4 flashlights here, and the microphone is also secondary here on the top for Samsung, and you can see the glass cover on the back might damage on the Samsung. On the front, it looks still good as new, since I have not damaged the front, luckily for the Edge device, but obviously here the back does not look too bad. Same won't happen probably to the iPhone. If you use both with a case though, you can have here edges or dents on an iPhone probably after a while also. From the side, it's still important to mention that we have a mute rocker here on the iPhone, while we just have a standard volume rocker on the Samsung, and on the other side still on and off switches on the same spots. SIM card reader on the side on the Apple. On the Samsung we have it on the top, but actually there's also micro SD card slot in here, or even dual SIM in some countries, so you can expand the internal 32 or 64 gigs of memory in the Samsung, which you cannot do on the iPhone, but you have actually more options in terms of space for the iPhone when you just buy a 32, 128 or 256 gig version of the iPhone. What I haven't mentioned about the cameras on the back is actually that we have obviously 12 megapixels on both, but we have a secondary camera for twice the optical zoom on the iPhone, which will not be digital, it will be optical, so you have not that pixelness like you would usually do when you zoom in, at least on the 2x basis. But we have on the Samsung an f1.7 aperture, while we have an f1.8 aperture on the iPhone, which is a little bit worse, not too much worse for low light pictures, but they are just not as perfect as on the Samsung. And if you're talking about aperture on the front, while we have more megapixels with 7 on the iPhone compared to just 5 on the Samsung, we have here an aperture of 1.7 also on the front, which is really good for low light selfies without a flash, and just f2.2 for the front camera of Apple, so higher pixel resolution, so maybe sharper picture, but not really better when there's not too good light. So both have a front button. This is not really a button, it's just a glass surface with a motor in the back, so it feels like a button, which is quite awesome. But on Samsung we also have the fingerprint reader built in into the button, so what we can do is now, as usually, do the fingerprint test with my thumbs. So both open up quite quickly or unlock quite quickly. Let's do the same thing again. Samsung was the winner, but I pressed it like 10 milliseconds before, so let's do it again at the same time. And now the Samsung seems to be faster, but only because the Apple has actually an animation going on in the beginning, which we cannot turn off but it's alright. So I would say it's definitely a tie, while actually the Samsung should be faster with 8 cores and 4 gigs of RAM, while we have just 4 cores and 3 gigs of RAM in the Apple iPhone. But what we can do is show you guys a benchmark where you will see that on both devices we have here a way higher number with 175,000 and 130,000 on the Samsung when it comes to just the speed of the device for gaming, at least. Well, since we have here 6-core dedicated graphics card in here, while I think it's just 4 cores for the Samsung with the latest Mali GPU. So quite interesting in that aspect, but let's see if gaming is really the same speed when it comes to opening a game and running a game. So I have here in the background, as you can see, I'm running Relic Run. If I just want to close that up, let's just close these last 3 apps here. Go. And here we can do the same thing, close camera, enter to a Relic Run. And now what we'll do is start up this game on both devices at the same time and see which one loads faster. So Apple loaded a little bit quicker, while on the Samsung it did take a few seconds longer, but it's I think not that important. Let's do both here the third level. Open up the third level, and you can see a little bit of stuttering going on the left side, but let's just do here a little bit of running with Lara Croft here in this basic tempo run kind of game. Okay, there was a little bit of animation going on the right side. The levels are a little bit different, but it seems like both look quite okay, and I think I will die on one of them soon though, since I have to watch out for both devices. Anyway, so both look quite good, and let's do something else which is way more important. It's the camera. Now the camera on the back, as I mentioned, both 12 megapixels, both record 4K videos, but which one is better? So if you just look here at the macro, the colors are already different. The flickering here on the Samsung is not visible for the eye. This is just my camera recording it this way, so don't worry about that. But if you look just here on taking a picture of a box, for example, of the iPhone 7 Plus or of the jet black version, the colors or just the focus especially seems to be faster on the Samsung. So let's go here to a close-up and then lift it up, and it seems like the Samsung will just react a little bit quicker when it comes to the focus, which is quite interesting to see. But yeah, both, as I mentioned, similar cameras but with different color aspects right now. But actually Apple wants to bring out an update to have even better colors and more features on the front camera. What's important for a lot of people though is a selfie camera also, which you can see here. If I put them both down on the table, that we have a better wide angle on the Samsung. More people would fit in a picture, while we have here a high resolution, so the picture should be sharper, but I think both have the same picture sharpness here going on at least, and the optical image stabilization for Samsung seems to be also a little bit better, since on the right side my camera is not as clear as on the left side, even though it's further away for the Samsung. And when I'm moving the camera, just a lot more still on the Samsung. But yeah, that's definitely also, I think, a win for Samsung. Which is not a win though is technology wise the 3D touch feature which Apple has, so you can right click, for example, here different things. If you just press the screen a little bit stronger, you have here certain features right away that you can do with a lot of apps which you don't have on Android devices yet in the Samsung family, which is quite interesting. So it's quite hard to say which one to choose. Obviously iOS has different games, for example, maybe even better apps, some people would say, but no fingerprint, but no headphone jack anymore with the iPhone 7, which is a little bit sad for some people, but I don't mind that much actually, since I usually only use Bluetooth headsets anyway, and they give you not only an adapter but also a Lightning headset here with the iPhone 7. And on the Samsung you just have a glass back cover, which you can see is harder to protect maybe for some people, but maybe better cameras in certain aspects on the front and the back for Samsung, and maybe a faster fingerprint reader on the Apple iPhone and a slimmer device, but the battery life varies about the same on both devices. So if I would have to make a choice, it would be usually Samsung, because I like Android more, and the prices right now are already cheaper, with about $500 with expandable storage. That's cheap expandable storage, while we have on Apple an at least $800 to $900 price point, plus obviously a lot more money for just a little bit more internal storage space for movies and other things that you might want to do with your iPhone 7 or 7 Plus. So thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. This was a comparison video of the Apple iPhone 7 Plus and the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. Till next time, peace and again, and thank you much for watching.